Nithyanandam, everyone. Welcome back to the Kundalini Yogini. This is Prasiddha. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. I just got back from Sedona, Arizona over the weekend and had such a blissful, amazing experience out in nature all weekend. It was so great. But I just wanted to share with you guys today a little bit about something having to do with yogic powers, what we call Shaktis in Sanskrit. And we just did a podcast all about this on our joint channel, the Anandas. So make sure to check that out if you want to hear way more about the Shaktis and why yogic powers are a part of the path of yoga and, answering all your different questions about it. But I wanted to touch on this subject today because I had a really cool experience I wanted to share with you relating to it. So first, I just want to start off by saying that these abilities, superhuman abilities or psychic abilities or yogic powers, siddhis, shaktis, all the different names that they have, are not limited to special people. And this is one thing I really, really want you guys to understand. There's no such thing as, only gifted people, only special people having these abilities. All human beings are born as divine beings, conscious beings, as we understand as per Sanatana Hindu Dharma. This is a part of our philosophy, our understanding of life in the universe, is that we are all cosmic consciousness in different bodies. Therefore, we all have the same ability to self-realize, to realize enlightenment, and to also access higher states of consciousness. This body was not made just to be an animal, but to be something higher than that, and that's what the human body is for. Now, one of these capabilities we all have inside of us is sometimes referred to as divine sight, or an ability to see beyond the two eyes. And I just wanted to share with you guys that there's so many possibilities that are there for us that we haven't even touched upon yet. And life is truly so exciting and such a gift because there's so much there for us to explore. There's really so much you're able to do that you haven't even touched yet. And so if you feel that depression or boredom with life or frustration with life, keep this as a light at the end of the tunnel. That the yogic path and the path of Sanatana Hindu Dharma is so juicy and exciting because there are so many dimensions that go so deep, that unveil themselves and, are like layers of an onion peeling back further and further as we go along the path. And it never gets boring. It never stops going deeper. Now, one ability that yogis have manifested, and these sages and enlightened beings of the Vedic scriptures that that have been written about for thousands and thousands of years, is the ability to see beyond the two eyes, to specifically see what is within the human body. And we often refer to this Shakti, this yogic power, as body scanning, because it's an ability to see into your own body and to see into another human being's body, any living being's body. Now, if you ever want any proof of this as kind of a time-tested science versus just what I'm telling you guys right now, I totally understand. I'm a skeptic like that as well, and I like to see concrete evidence of, a history and a lineage behind these teachings. And one such example of this is Ayurveda. If you look at the Ayurvedic scriptures, the entire science is about health in the human body and the science of life, literally, as it translates. And so much of what these ancient rishis or sages have described was directly revealed to them in meditation. It's literally told in the scriptures multiple times throughout that these sciences, these complex, detailed sciences, were realized in meditation, directly in the state of samadhi, that oneness with the divine, where these things were revealed through the third eye, through that being's higher consciousness. So much so that they did over 100 different surgeries on the human body without having x-rays, without having CT scans, without having the technology we have today. They were able to literally diagnose things you would never imagine, like hemorrhoids and fibroids and cancers and bones breaking and diabetes and all of these type of severe diseases that we even recognize today, but we need a lot of technology to find. These yogis were able to detect and completely in-depth understand what was happening inside the body. How? How were they able to do this? Through tapping into higher states of consciousness, through spiritual practice, through meditation, through initiation by their gurus, by the masters that came before them. And so just like this, just like them, we have to understand and use the right logic. If they could do that, if they could access this thousands and thousands of years ago, imagine how much even now our consciousness has of course evolved, how much we are capable of in the same way. All we need is for that dormant spark inside of us to be awakened, to be ignited by a being that's already in that space. This is why gurus are such an important part of the yogic tradition. They are the yogic tradition because they're able to pass that flame from their candle to yours because it's already lit. It's just an energy science. There's nothing more to it. You don't have to read any deeper into it. It's an energy science, and it gifts us these accesses, these key cards almost, you could say, to these abilities, these higher states of consciousness that are within us ultimately, of course, but they're basically unlocked by beings in this state. And I just wanted to share with you guys an example of this in my own life. So I haven't used the third eye powers in quite some time, to be honest with you guys, from living back in the US, and I've been, kind of doing my own thing in school and work, and I truly just haven't been taking advantage of using the third eye powers like I used to when I lived in India, and I did a lot of healings for people. But, a few weeks ago, one of my best friends, she asked me to body scan her boyfriend because he was having severe pain in his abdomen, and she was really worried. So she asked me, because she knows that I have body scanned her before and been really accurate, she asked me to do it for him. And so I was really nervous, to be honest. I was having some self-doubt, and because I hadn't manifested these powers in a long time, like I said, I don't know, I was feeling like I was just having a lot of doubt, and I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to tell her wrong information. I didn't want to have his health compromised. But I decided that that's stupid. Let me just drop it, because again, I know that these powers are not from my ego. They're not from me. They're from source, they're from Paramashiva, and they're manifesting through my body as a channel, but it's not me doing it. And so I just dropped that doubt, and I just connected to my guru, to Swamiji, and to Paramashiva, and I gave a scan. This was remotely, of course, because they lived hundreds of miles away from me. And I scanned into his body. And while I don't have the correct anatomical terms for everything I saw, I was painted a really clear picture through my third eye. And what I saw was an organ in his abdomen in the right side swelling, so much so that I could see this organ highlighted, and it was like bursting. It almost felt like it was going to burst. And it was like it was squeezing, and it was so inflated. And that organ was pressing up against the wall of his abdominal muscles. And so it was like pulling those muscles, creating inflammation and pain and tension there. And what I saw, I could tell was really not a minor thing. It was very serious. And so I told her exactly what I saw, just the picture. And I said, if my mind had to interpret this visualization that I saw, honestly, I feel very strongly it's a hernia or it's appendicitis. I think you should go to the hospital immediately. And she asked me, should we go today? And she knows normally I'm not a huge fan of hospitals. I don't recommend that easily. And I said, yes, go immediately, because I can see this is really severe. He needs to get seen immediately, like it needs to be looked at. So they went to the hospital and they saw a doctor, and the doctor said his pain wasn't severe enough. And so they sent him away. But he was still having the pain, some hours later, and she again asked me, she told me what happened, and she asked me, should we go get a CT scan at another hospital? And I said, please, you need to go. I would not, don't delay it any further. Do not go to work today. You need to go in. So they went in, and sure enough, on the CT scan with this other doctor, they saw immediately he had severe appendicitis, and his appendix was already leaking fluid into his body. That's why he was in such severe pain. And it was already past the point where it was past the point of no return, could have been moments away from bursting inside, which, if you guys know, is very serious and can cause huge health issues. And so they immediately took him in for surgery, and he got his appendix removed. And so this just was a beautiful example to me that these are very real. They're inside of all of us, and they come from our consciousness. They don't come from this identity, this ego. And I don't tell you this story for you to glorify me or to think that I did anything special. No. I want you to understand that I didn't do anything special, and I was just a vessel for that consciousness through initiation and connecting to my guru and that lineage of enlightenment, and that you have access to these abilities too. We all do as human beings, and we should be living with these powers and possibilities. Why would we keep living in so much suffering when we have so many solutions that are accessible to us through these, these energy sciences? So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this video brought some value to you, and definitely let me know your experiences with third eye or these type of superhuman abilities or Shaktis in the comments below. I would love to hear your experiences, especially those of you in our Sangha or who have experienced it in general, and let me know your feedback. I love you guys. Have a beautiful week and happy holidays to you guys. Nithyanandam, everyone. See you on the next video.